Welcome to Getting Unstuck with Wendy B. Sorry, I keep moving and the lighting isn't quite what I want, and we'll just have to have it all work, right? So thank you for getting Unstuck with Wendy B. And today I thought I'd talk about anger and the cost. There's appropriate anger and then there's inappropriate anger. So that's what I'd like to talk about today. And there's 6 steps. I was listening to a minister, and I don't have the fellow's name in front of me, and I'll have to remember to bring it for tomorrow. But I was listening to his sermon, and it gave me this idea about anger. And given the COVID-19, there's some statistics, and I'll read them after. I'll read them now. The statistics are that sorry, I'll have to give you the statistics after because that doesn't work for me if I can't find them right away. So he's basing his sermon on the book of James, and the book of James, like if you're a Bible reader, it is quite interesting because Al-Anon, hi Michael Hopkins, thank you. Can you make a comment and say hello? That'd be great. Anyways, the book of James, Al-Anon was founded on the book of James, and AA was founded on the book of James. So I just find the book of James is pretty fascinating. If you're not a Christian, it's still a fascinating read. So anyways, the COVID-19 has created, out of people being anxious, outbursts of anger, irritability, and so we want to start understanding where anger comes from, and we want to be able to reduce it in ourselves and others, because anger creates irritation and frustration, and I believe that it can become an emotional disease. It's a habit. Anger can become a habit. And it stems from our feelings. So so the book of James was, or part of the book of James is to have faith in a world where there's crisis in the world and you can still deal with them, okay? And I think anger is misunderstood. Anger is God-given. Whether you're a Christian or you have another type of God, anger is God-given. We all experience anger. Watch babies. When they can't get their needs met, God gave them the ability, and a God of your understanding. You don't have to have a Christian God. It's a God of your understanding. I happen to have a Christian God, but it's a God of your understanding, because I don't want to turn people away from this. So if you pay attention to babies get angry when they cry, and then we pick them up. Oh, what's wrong? That's their way to communicate. So that's healthy anger. And then there's, so that's appropriate anger. A baby, the way they communicate what their wants and needs are is they cry. They get angry and they cry, right? And then there's, so we got to learn how to use our anger, right? And anger can be managed, So we need to look at, what causes upsets. Manage anger used appropriately can give us access to freedom. Not controlled, inappropriate expression of anger, like blowing up, or people blow up, and people either when they get angry, they're either really, really loud, or they shut up. They're like this minister was talking about the skunk. There's 2 types of angers, the skunk anger and the turtle anger. And the skunk anger, everybody's splashed. It's like, ah! I think I'm one of those angry people when I really lose it. And then, and the turtle is shuts down and withdraws. And that anger can be just as devastating, living with it, as the skunk anger. And he was saying that, he did a study, and typically men lose their temper more frequently than women, and that single show anger more often. Isn't that interesting? Single men. And often men show anger physically. And he was talking about successful marriages or successful partnerships of any sort is where you have learned to manage your anger. So there is a high cost to uncontrolled anger. And, I used to have uncontrolled anger. It's interesting. I work in a group home where a girl has total uncontrolled anger and doesn't want it reined in because it's a habit now. It's a habit to get her way. Okay. And she knows that. And she'll use excuses like, well, I have whatever, but it's like, and I used to be like her, not, thank God, to the extent she is, that I used to have uncontrolled anger. I was raised in violence, and that's all I knew. So there's a high cost to uncontrolled anger. Hot temper causes us to get into trouble. And I never saw that. I justified it. It was like, So hot tempers, if you look, they cause arguments, right? Anger creates anger. Anger causes mistakes. Hot temper, you do foolish things. Take a look. And you lose things, like you lose the respect of others. You can lose your job. You can lose friendships. You can lose your health. And that's an adult. And angry parents, what shows up with the children is more anger. Kids are more angry, or apathy, or an alienation, or it's so we want to look at anger. There's a high cost. So I'm inviting you today is just to look at the cost of anger, whether it's justified or not. We still have to manage anger. Like if I lashed out at that young girl for some of the names that she calls me because she can't instantly have what she wants, it would cost me my job, but it also, me controlling and managing my anger when she's inappropriate with me teaches her that I'm managing controlled anger. I don't even get angry at her most of the time because I get that her uncontrolled anger and her inappropriate speaking and language that she uses is not personal. It's been taught. Kids model what they've been around. And so I the opportunity for me is to manage, not to take it personal 99% of the time, and be a demonstration to her what is available. So that's step one is, listening. I just want you to look at the first step is the cost of uncontrolled anger. And, you might want to get a piece of paper and look at the times where you've had uncontrolled anger, whether you do it turtle or skunk wise. So thank you for listening. Tomorrow we'll talk about step 2, resolve to manage your anger, as we're going to talk about tomorrow. And in the meantime, I'm going to share, I am an author, a podcaster. I have a podcast, Thriving at 60, and you can Google that, and I'm on iTunes, and it's Thriving at 60, THRIVINGATSIXTY, and it's I'm in 30 different countries and have over 25,000 followers. So enjoy listening to my podcast. I'm doing number 400 today, uploading number 400 podcast today. So pretty amazing. I do these Facebook Lives and my podcast to make a difference. I also am a transformational solution coach. I give a complimentary 30-minute strategy session. So if you would like a complimentary 30-minute strategy session, especially now, if you're dealing with anything, let's have a fast talk and see if we can move you forward. I have a great best-selling book, Getting Unstuck with Wendy B. 30 Ways to Turn Your Limiting Barriers into Clarity, Freedom, and Power. It's on digital only right now because Amazon is not delivering paperbacks. They're not emergency. So it's on Amazon, Tolino, Kobo, Apple, Barnes & Noble, Overdrive, and 24 Symbols in digital. Yay! So thank you for coming and jumping on. I really, if you're watching the replay, tell me if this was valuable. Make a comment. I would love to hear. That way I know I'm bringing you value. And tomorrow we're going to talk on step 2, resolving to manage our anger. And so thank you for being here with me. Have an awesome day and manage your anger. And your homework is to look at the cost when you have uncontrolled anger. Thank you.